Hey everybody, Kneecap here. I'm going to do a video about my takeaways and observations so far in PvP in World of Warcraft Legion. And I want to start off with a disclaimer just saying that I am not a rank 1 PvP player or a top ranked PvP player. I am a average to above average PvP player, and these are just my observations and takeaways from PvP so far. And although I am maybe more PvE centric in this expansion, I have always enjoyed PvP, and I enjoy the competition of it and the just the competitive spirit and the one-on-one nature of some battles. I'm going to go ahead and start with discussing about my takeaways from Battlegrounds so far in Legion. In Legion so far, I have overall just enjoyed Battlegrounds. They seem to be even. My guess is because of the fact that gear doesn't matter as much, and in random battlegrounds, you're going to have a lot of casual players just queuing either for gear to get their honor talents up and whatnot, and they might not have very much gear. They might just be new 110s, and with this whole gear not mattering as much, as long as they have a little bit of skill, they can really compensate for that, and it's helping a lot, in my opinion, to keep the matches closer and more competitive. I obviously play Alliance, Holy Paladin, and towards the end of Warlords, the Alliance, at least in my battle group, was kind of really getting destroyed in battlegrounds, even random battlegrounds, and it wasn't very fun. And so when this one started up, and I've probably won more than I lost in again my particular battle group, and but all the matches are somewhat close, which is what I like. Yeah, dominating somebody's fun occasionally, but I kind of like the close competitive matches, feeling like you actually accomplish something by beating your opponent. And we've had a ton of those on good and bad ends, winning and losing. I think that's a huge deal, and I think that has a large in part to do with the whole the gear scale. You're just scaled up in PvP now, and your gear doesn't matter quite as much as it used to. I think that's a great change. Other than that, in Legion, there was no new battleground. I was kind of disappointed by that. I've kind of always liked, with the new expansion, them giving you a new battleground. I don't always like the battleground, I guess, that they put out. Some of my favorite new ones when they came out were Strand of the Ancients, and I like Strand of the Ancients because it had to do with what was relevant in the expansion at the time. So, it was kind of like Winter Grasp, and so I kind of like the synergy of that. I just like the idea of it, and so it made me really like that one. In Kata, I liked the new form of Warsong Gulch that came out, and I still like that one. It's just a take on the same thing, and it also had to kind of do with the expansion itself. So it was like Warsong Gulch is more vanilla, and the new one is more Cataclysm, and I like that a lot. Now I will say in Pandaria, I didn't really like the battlegrounds that they added in that, and maybe that's why they shied away from it. But I would have really enjoyed a new Legion battleground, and although they didn't give us one, and I am disappointed by that. Hopefully, my experience and everyone else's experience in the other battlegrounds continues to be good, so that way, you're not just sitting there wishing and complaining and thinking of things that Blizzard could have done better. If it just keeps going smoothly and more competitive gameplay. As far as arena goes, arena is obviously more class specific than a battleground. A battleground's more world PvP style than arena, and arena is going to matter on your group comp and everything else. My takeaways on arena are it's still really unbalanced in a lot of ways. There's certain classes or specs that just are unplayable, and I think Blizzard's worked really hard on working on that. But what stinks is if you play just with I play with my real life friends when I do arena most of the time, and what stinks about that is if you guys play classes that don't really work together in arena. As far as a threes team goes, I was doing threes with a demon hunter and warrior. Just not a very good setup of a team because pretty much all three use stuns, and it doesn't stack up very well. You don't have any kind of difference in your your CC really, and it's kind of the diminishing returns just kind of add up too quickly, and you're not really able to do as much. Obviously, I'm spec'd into Repentance, and Demon Hunters have their Imprison, and Warriors have a Fear, but it just really hasn't worked out that well. Obviously, you're going to want a range a lot of times too, not just 2 melee, or at least something that can do things at range. The best classes that I've faced so far, personally, or at least that can hurt me, are Shamans, pretty much any spec but Ellie. So Resto and Enhancement are both rough because they both have Hex, they both have a ranged interrupt, so they're both very potent. Demon Hunters are strong, but they are kind of I don't know what's the word. Certain classes can definitely just kind of kite them around and keep them from doing too much harm. But they do have insane damage still, despite any kind of nerf that they got. So Demon Hunters are definitely still strong. Rogues are always going to be good in arena. It's just rogues are kind of made for PvP in general. So yeah, rogues are definitely strong, and I think they should be. I think rogue kind of is an arena class. As far as healers go, I am happy to say that Holy Pally is a pretty strong healer. Despite my non-top player skill, I'm able to kind of heal through a lot of things and do a lot of things that maybe I couldn't do if I was playing a different class, or maybe my teammates aren't using their things correctly, but I'm still able to heal through something because of Pally's high-powered single-target heals. Of course, I have my bubble, my trusty bubble, of course, and a new nice change is being able to Blessing and Protection my melee and have them still be able to deal out damage. That's helped a lot as well. So not losing to very many like rush or turbo teams that are just trying to burn you down quickly as a paladin because of all the bubbles, all the damage reduction that I can do. That's really helped in those kind of teams. The only thing that's really given me trouble is more of a balanced, skilled crowd control team. And as always, crowd control will be king in arena. If you're really, really good at crowd control, you're probably going to win most matches, and as if you're better than your opponent at it. That's been king in arena. It'll probably always be king in arena. So crowd control, crowd control, crowd control. That's what you need to do. Another great healer though is a Disc Priest. And again, these aren't rank 1 players or anything, but my experience is they've been hard to kill, even harder than a Paladin despite the bubble, because they don't really have to even use their mana very much, whereas I might have to blow through a lot of mana to keep myself up or to keep my teammates up. A Disc Priest kind of can just just bubble and fear, and then what's great about the Disc Priest too is the amount of damage that they can put out if they get the opportunity to do that. As Holy, my damage is very limited. I can spec certain ways to do a little bit more damage if I want to, but it's definitely more limited than what the Disc Priest is, and obviously the Disc Priest has a little bit better crowd control than a Paladin as well. So personally, I would say a Disc Priest is the best healer right now in arena. But other people would say Paladins, I understand. And, there'll always be love for things like a really skilled Druid with his Cyclones. I mean, it's hard to beat that as well. Some things that have been another surprising thing, actually, is despite the low DPS of, like, Frost Mages, for example, Frost Mages are still really good in arena. They still have really high survivability. They have good CC with Polymorph, and just being able to root you with all their Frost Novas. I've seen them, even if it wasn't with me, I've seen them really be able to kind of neutralize Demon Hunters and all the damage that Demon Hunters can put out, which has been really surprising just because of how load of damage that they're doing in raid forms. Then I didn't think that they would be quite as good in arena as they are right now. Granted, you're going to have skill as well. If you're not just going to play a Frost Mage in arena right now and dominate, but if you're good at it, then you might. Fire, of course, does more insane damage. In my opinion, they're not as hard to kill as a frost mage because I don't think they have as much survival. But I mean, I guess that could be debated on every end. So again, the DPS that have been strongest in my observation are rogues, demon hunters, mages, um, survival hunters as well. I'll throw those in. Those play a lot like rogue in a way, and those have been highly annoying as well. And the healers that I've noticed kind of had no success are holy paladins and disciplined priests. I want to throw in a little bit at the end here about world PvP because that's obviously a big deal again because obviously there's no flying in Legion, which is a great thing in my opinion, and everyone's out doing world quests. So if you're on a PvP realm, get ready to world PvP. And if you are an alliance on most servers, then you better really be ready for some world PvP because obviously we're an outnumbered breed here, and you got to be ready for some world PvP. The Obviously the best things in world PvP are always going to be the classes that kind of have some powerful thing that allows you to use the map to your advantage. So you're going to have rogues who can, stealth and get away and all that. That's always going to be powerful. Things with like slow fall or the gliding of the demon hunters, things to where you can kind of do things where you wouldn't normally be able to do it. Even in Elishan with all the elevation changes is kind of cool in world PvP. Being able to thunderstorm people off the edge, that's kind of neat. There's a lot of places like pretty much everywhere, but Stormheim has a lot of like mountains where you can knock people off the edge. So that's kind of cool for world PvP. One huge thing, it's going to be a complaint, and probably my biggest complaint with Legion PvP so far, it's a world PvP issue, and that's the Suramar City. Suramar City is just a rough place for world PvP unless you play certain classes. Obviously, if you can stealth or get away, it's not going to be a huge issue for you, but if you can't, it kind of is a huge issue. And it might be something that I start doing, and maybe I'll even do a video about it just to kind of highlight how unfair it is. But if you are in Suramar and you're in your disguise, you're opposing faction players in his disguise, if you're hiding somewhere where a guard can't really get to you or see you, you can actually ranged hit somebody while they're in the middle of some neutral guards that don't have the invisibility seeing or disguise seeing, and you can break them out of their disguise. It'll break you out of your disguise too, but it breaks them out of their disguise, and everything around them will then attack them. I've been killed a few times like this, and like I said, I've thought about doing it myself, more as kind of I'm just going to try to highlight it. I've seen a couple of good spots where you could do this from. And the other issue within Suramar City and just in general is there seems to be some sort of weird things with the NPCs to where let's say a hunter pulls some things and they come near me, and I'm just healing myself, let's say, and I don't hit them at all. After the hunter feigns death, instead of the mobs running back and resetting, they're attacking me. So that's my other complaint. That's about all I have for PvP and Legion so far. Like I said, feel free to comment below your thoughts. Please like, subscribe, share my video, and yeah, everyone have a good one.